You know when you meet someone who just says it as it is and is nothing but unashamedly themselves? And it's quite rare these days, but chef, TV personality and entrepreneur Eunice Power is one of those people. You might know her best from serving up stews to Dahi on the Today Show. But we sat down and had a chat today about her new book, My Irish Kitchen Table, about her love of Irish produce and cooking, and also championing the Waterford food scene in Dungarvan, where she comes from. She has been through a really rough time recently, and we talked about being single in her 50s, we talked about grief, and we talked about how work has been her absolute saviour. I've always admired her, and I didn't think I could love this woman anymore, but I genuinely do after this chat, because I haven't had such a refreshing, honest chat in a long time. So I hope you enjoy. You have a bold look on your face already. I don't know, maybe it's the two of us. Eunice Power, it is so great to have you in the Are We There Yet studio.
Oh, Kathryn, it's great to be here, and it's lovely to see you again.
I know. So the last time we would have properly hung out was when you came to one of my Pure Results fitness retreats in Portugal.
Yeah.
And you managed it. You laughed.
I managed it, and actually, I was really like bottom tier, and I was with my friends who are sort of now, doing that. What's that thing? That High Rocks.
Oh, High Rocks, yeah, which has taken over the world. This is your friend Anne Brannigan.
Anne Brannigan,
probably the fittest 50-year-old in the world.
And she's unbelievable.
She's a machine.
Yeah, and then there's Kate from Carsavine.
Kate Quinlan, love her.
And then there was like Anne and myself from Dungarvan being dragged along. But yeah,
I mean, I love it. And I mean, when I started that business 11 years ago now, the reason I started it was because I was so into the kind of the fitness and the confidence in the building, and it was where I was at the moment. And I had no kids. I wasn't working 2 other full-time jobs at the time. I was freelance in television, so it allowed me the time to travel and go all over Ireland and go to Portugal and do all these things. Now I don't have the time. And I often go, God, will I just wrap the business up? But I love it so much, honestly, because the dynamic between every group that we take away, whether it's in Ireland or abroad, is so different. And the dynamic of 25 women together from all walks of life, who are going through various things, various issues, there's something kind of so magical and so addictive for me as the business owner to kind of bring these people together and to bring them together. There's always something magical that I take away from it.
It is. It was a brilliant group, and for me, it pushed me. And when I came back from that, I started weight training. So it opened up a whole new world to me that I didn't know existed. Because I had just come from kind of, it's like pulling and dragging with raising 3 lads, having a busy business, and I like all women put no time into myself. So from that, I've been doing a bit of Pilates. But I've been doing really well. So thank you for getting me started. Oh. You could probably throw a psychotherapist into the group the next time to unravel some of the stuff, because there were a couple of angry people in there, angry cats, yeah. But it was great crack. We loved it. And it was a beautiful place.
But do you know what, Eunice? You are the perfect person to parachute into a group like that, because you bring an incredible energy. Like, people on that group, they knew you from the Today Show. That's where we know you. And that's where a lot of people will know you from. You're an author now as well. You write your column with the papers. And you have your anships. Like, you're a restaurant business owner as well.
Yeah, for my sins.
But people, so you're busy. But when you inject an energy like yours into a group, it really, you always need a Eunice in the group like that. Do you know what I mean? And you provided that week.
Oh, well, thank you. I suppose I didn't realize, but it's a sense of humour, and you need it.
You do.
Because when you're working in our business in hospitality, a sense of humour is probably like a good sense of humour. You remember those ads in the back of the Farmer's Journal looking for a wife? Good sense of humour is very important in our business.
It is.
Yeah.
And I mean, you have ridden the storm of the hospitality business. My husband is kind of in the thick of it as well. So I understand how difficult it's been the last number of years. How are you doing? How is the restaurant going? Like, it's your takeaway down in Dungarvan.
Yeah.
You're in the catering business as well. So how have you kind of managed the last few years?
Well, it's the last 25 years, really.
Yes.
It's been evolving. I mean, this is a business that I love. I'm really passionate about. I left school, I did hotel management. There was never any question mark about what direction I would go in. I knew this would be my path. I mean, and a path has many little forks in the road as you go along. The changes. I started off with, like 25 years ago, with having a B&B and little restaurant in my house. And that kind of evolved into catering. And then those little kind of, the fork went off to chips. I mean, catering is probably my main love. When I say catering, working with somebody like you on an event, what do you want? What do you want from this? What do you want the food from this? How do you want people to feel afterwards? And that's what I love, kind of holding people's hand and getting to the other side. And that's just fabulous. And most people are aligned with, well, everybody I work with is aligned with me in, my principles of where food comes from. So it's really exciting. And I love to do sort of 10 events every year. And, be it weddings, family events, a corporate event. And that's probably where I'm at. I have an amazing team that I pulled together for these. We plan in advance. And I love even just thinking about it. I'm driving along in the car, thinking about like how to push the boundaries on something. And Chips is gorgeous, a little takeaway on the quay in Dungarvan where, you should have a takeaway on the quay.
Absolutely. It's the perfect spot for it.
Yeah, fresh fish and chips is just gorgeous. The winter time is tough there because it's, we're a coastal town. When you're on the quay, I mean, when you're just looking out at the sea, hoping it won't actually come into you sometimes with these kind of changeable weathers and storms and things. But summertime there is just idyllic. And that's where our business is done. It's really from May to September. And the rest of the year then is kind of calm. It's local business. And like every business, we have challenges. Is there a good potato crop this year? Last year's potato crop, or this year, 2025, was amazing, whereas last year was really tough.
So what made this year's potato crop good and last year's bad? Just weather?
It's weather. It's all weather. Yeah. Like in 2024, the farmers could not get into the fields to plant and they couldn't get into harvest. So 2025, the spring was really amazing. It was a lovely dry spring. Like everything about this year has been so generous crop-wise. I mean, the blossoms were great for apples, for pears, for plums, for potatoes. People were able to get in and plant and then take the crops off. We had a really great summer. And also you need the temperature to drop a little bit in these in September for apples and things. So I didn't know this. I've been working with Tesco and I've been out meeting producers. And so I've learned so much about, when to harvest crops and things that I didn't know. You think now at this point I'd know everything, but I don't.
But that's such a great message that, there's always something to learn. And you and your business, because I know that you're very involved with the Waterford Food Festival as well, which has literally gone from success to success. And Waterford kind of has become this sort of food hub, hasn't it, in the last number of years?
Yeah, it has. It's when I came back to Dungarvan in 2000, Dungarvan was a place where you came off the ferry, you came off a plane in Dublin and you whizzed, you kind of bypassed it. A bypass road came in at, maybe I think it was probably 98 or so, even before that. And you bypassed Dungarvan, you went off to Kerry and the wilds of West Cork, but nobody ever stopped in Dungarvan. And like Dungarvan is the best kept secret. That coast drive from Tramore to Dungarvan, oh my God.
It's so stunning.
It's absolutely beautiful. You kind of don't want people to know about it because in case it gets congested, but it's stunning. The town itself is beautiful. And what's so good about the place is our community. We have the most amazing community, and we kind of start from the inside in, the inside out. So whereas a lot of places tourism is kind of imposed on them almost, but here we have that great foundation of really good restaurants, of great producers. So it's all there for the taking. So when the Greenway, for example, came to Dungarvan, we were ready for it, and everybody, it was ready to flourish.
But there's great business minds in the town as well. You think of Paul in the tannery, there's the Cliff House, there's people who are putting it on the map as well and kind of pushing constantly.
Yeah, there are. And there are loads of unsung heroes there as well. There's our next door neighbour on the quay is the Interlude, and Susan Den has been there since, I'd say, I've finished there 25 years now. And like the beef comes from her dad's farm. She always buys locally. In fact, she asked me to source something for her recently for a menu. It was truffles. And I said, okay, I can get them from such and such a place. Do you have an account? And she said, no, she just buys from local people all the time. And actually, that's her ethos. And she's been there providing great food for people for years and years and years. And, there are a lot of, she's an unsung hero. You've the Moorings next door, like amazing on the quay, gorgeous chowders. You've Dune Bakery in town. They have like the most amazing bread. Cass & Co. on the square actually has created a community. Like Stephen Cass is amazing. He's got a really sharp personality. And there are groups of men who go in there for their coffee every week. And it's just fabulous to see it. The old fellas looking around, looking at all the talent coming in and out the door.
Because I'd see, I love it. Because I kind of see that was what Kinsale was years ago. Kinsale really worked in terms of building their food repertoire. Same with Kenmare.
Yeah.
And now Dungarvan over the last number of years has just really pushed the boundaries, I think, gaining that reputation.
Yeah, it has. And
you've been a part of that, a big part of it.
Well, I think that it's, I suppose maybe my part of it is bringing people together a little bit. And with the festival, we push boundaries. So we ask people maybe to do a little pop-up and we support them because I know what it makes to make an event, what it takes to make an event work. And they're very basic things, It's like having the furniture, having the cutlery, having the china, having the cooking facilities, talking through, making sure that the person going in to do their pop-up matches the place and everybody feels comfortable about it. And even if it takes, like I have a lady who has worked for me for years, Amazing Grace, and she just needs to go in sometimes and sprinkle her magic dust to make everything come together. Because we want people to try something new, but in a supportive environment. So if you try this, we will support you and it will not fail. And then they come out and say, oh my God, this was amazing. Let's do it again. And then that often leads to a new little strand of their business.
And so are you optimistic about the food environment in Ireland at the moment? I just seem to think we're hearing so much difficulties in terms of chefs, in terms of rates, and in terms of, trying to keep a place afloat. Every second day you're opening the paper or reading online about somewhere else that's closing, whether it's in Dublin or somewhere else. Like, what's your take on where we're at in the hospitality industry?
Yeah, so I am optimistic for the future. I look at places and like sometimes I hear what people spend on places, and in my
in fit outs.
As a fit out. And in my basic past maths mind, I can't figure it out, because I know how much food costs. I know how much it costs to staff things. And I just can't see where that bit in the middle is going to pay for the rest of it. So I think it has to be small and organic. That's what's going to survive, unless you're coming in as a big company from somewhere with lots of backing, or you have backers who want to, throw money at somewhere and then let it run on itself. But I don't understand how you can spend, 2 million on a fit out in somewhere like Dungarvan expected to, return. That just isn't going to happen. And like, it's great when people have those great, big fit outs, and if you can afford to do it, that's brilliant. But actually to try and get the money back from the business, it's not really there. So when I started on Chips in 2018, we had kind of metrics, that this is your percentage for wages, this is your percentage for your GP, this is all that's been just thrown up in the air and whatever way it's landed. And I think I went in expecting my wages to come in around 25%. And now, if I can work out between 35 and 40, that's really good. Yeah. The food GP should be for a takeaway. People would say, oh yeah, 85%. You must be joking. 75%. No. Like, I'm lucky if I get in around 70. Because we're dealing with local suppliers who, we have to pay them to harvest, to get their product into us to prepare it. It's just the food costs have gone through the roof. Yeah. So that little bit in the middle is really, really squeezed all the time.
Yes.
And I think, in Dungarvan, when I look at the businesses, they're generally owner-run businesses.
Yep.
That are in control. Their unique selling point is what they're providing to the customer, be it in the personality of the owner, the produce, all of that, it's the package. And they're the businesses that will survive. And it is a slog, and you're either cut out for it or you're not. Yeah.
And my husband always bangs on about unreasonable hospitality. This is his thing. And sometimes I really love going out for dinner with Porrick. And other times I really don't like going out for dinner with him because he's there and he's looking at the staff and who's watching the door and who's communicating with the chef and, you know, who's going above and beyond for the lady in the corner, knowing that it's her birthday. Like, he will literally sit as like a restaurant manager when I go for dinner with him. And I really admire it in one way, but it's a pain in the hole, to be honest, a lot of the time when you're trying to go out with him. But I think if it's in the blood, which it is with him, it is with you. And I think he will say a lot of that is missing, certainly in Dublin now. He feels that level of hospitality, customer hospitality, is missing.
Yeah. I think I think he's probably right in some ways, although sometimes I think customers expect an unobtainable level of hospitality as well. I see it from both sides. But I had an experience this weekend. I was down, my pal owns the Abbey Glen Castle Hotel.
Brian Hughes. I have danced on Brian Hughes's piano many, many times.
And, you know, he is quite unusual in the hospitality that's offered. Like, that is above and beyond. So Brian's a pal of mine. I was staying in their house and I came down to the kitchen. There were boxes of lobsters being delivered into the kitchen. They were crawling all over the place, you know, waiting to meet their fate. There were oysters coming in, lovely lemon sole coming in, brought in by a guy from, what's the key down the Cleggan?
Yeah.
He was in his plastic boots from a boat. I mean, where do you get that?
Yeah.
The food was absolutely divine. Now, it was traditionally served. You know, there was a side of vegetables with mashed potato, carrot and parsnip mash. I mean, is there anything nicer?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Old-fashioned hospitality.
Yeah. Crab claws. I didn't even notice what was going on around me in the dining room. I was having dinner with his wife, Michelle. He came in, he played a tune on the piano, announced it was somebody's birthday. I mean, come on. It was just magical.
It is one of my favourite hotels in Ireland. But I mean, what a hotel. Because I remember the first time going in there and there was a parrot. Gilbert was his name, that used to sit at the left-hand side of the reception. And as soon as you'd arrive in, Gilbert would go, fuck off!
Yeah.
Fuck off!
Well, now, Gilbert has much better manners now, because since COVID, he's been living with Brian and his wife, Michelle. He goes up there every night. I think he lived with them for COVID. And Brian brought him home one day and he's been there. So he says, hello.
Oh, that's what he... Oh, okay.
See you later. Michelle's put manners on him.
Oh, okay. So he's much better behaved. Well, I think that could be Gilbert number 2, actually.
I think it might be. But anyway, Michelle has gentrified Gilbert. Yeah. Or Gilbert's replacement.
Brian is a man that's married to the business, married to Michelle, but married to that business. Adores it. We'll be there to welcome. We'll be there at the desk. We'll be there at the restaurant. We'll be there at night. We'll be there putting pints. We'll be there playing and like taking photographs, putting a photograph of you into a folder so you have it going home. The business cards, like, it is, there's nowhere else in Ireland like it. Was hotel management, or was being a hotelier ever something in your sights?
Oh yeah, I was a hotelier. Like, I mean, I did hotel management and I worked in hotels. Yeah. And I was in Brian's class in Shannon, and there was a great gang of us. You know, you've got Justin Green in the in Ballyblan House, Ronan Brannigan, who's in Limerick and Savoy in Limerick, and his wife Anne. Kate is down in Carsavine. So there was a great gang of us hoteliers together. So I worked in hotels for years, but I was more drawn towards the food side. And really, in hotels, food is a service that is provided to support rooms. And so when you're working in hotels, you're always fighting your corner. Food became cool about kind of 20 years ago, or even less, maybe 15 years ago. But really, you're only providing food because rooms are where the money is, you know? So you'll see now much more, you'll see the occurrence much more of bedrooms without hospitality, without food and beverage, because the rooms are in money, you know?
So in terms of then the catering, and that's you know what you love to do, what's the biggest event that you've catered? And you've done some biggies.
Yeah, I have actually. The biggest event I've catered for, and I was telling your fab assistant earlier that I was afraid of getting PSP, post-traumatic stress PTSD, when I arrived up and I saw Three Arena in front of me, because I catered for the clubs in Three Arena for 5 years before COVID. Imagine coming up from Dungarvan, about 60 gigs a year. And I absolutely loved it. I love Virginia and the team there. They're just the best crack, and they're the nicest people to work with. But the biggest event we did was a dinner for 2,500 people, which we had quoted for, and this is in 2018, and it went to the convention center, but then it got too big because Christina Aguilera was playing. So to have like the stage performance of that size and have a dinner, there wasn't enough room there. So came back to Three Arena, and it's about the March of that year, and it was the same weekend as the horse show. It was probably around the first weekend in August. So it was great that I didn't have that huge run into it, because it only took those like 6 months off my life as opposed to, a whole year of worrying. And it was, I think it was 2,500 people. We had 10 different kitchens, and it was really, really precise. Everything was very precise. It had to be timed to perfection. And we had really good service partners at the time. Actually, Ronan from Cater Hire in Limerick, who run Hanrahan's just brilliant. He did all the cater hire, and he was brilliant. And you need people like that who come in to support you.
Yeah.
Andy Duffy from Heyday Recruitment looked after the staff, and Grace and I did it. And I kind of micromanaged it a little bit from the beginning, because I didn't want to freak all the people who worked with me out about it. And we literally color coded each kitchen. So if you were working
10 kitchens feeding 200 each, kind of
200 each, yeah,
Wow.
a bit more, yeah. That's how we kind of operated it. And we were down to, literally the night before. I have a really good friend, James Grimes, and he works. He works himself, but he's big into the Boy Scouts, and it really came out that night. We literally, like, we set up every kitchen, we color coded everything. And then teams came up, like Paul brought up a couple of guys from the tannery. Shane McGrath, the Cliff House, he brought a couple of guys from there. Like literally everybody we knew brought a little team along with them, and they had a kitchen each. And I had everything measured out to each, like the number of fillets in each kitchen. And I remember a friend of mine, Hilary, said, and how many spares do you have? And I said, about 20. Like, because
you were watching your margins as well.
But there's a big tunnel behind the Three Arena where all the guys pull up their trucks and all the riggers come in and everything else. And we had about 500 desserts laid out in this particular tunnel, and we had 2 flowers on each one, and it was all done. And some clown opened up the door at the other end, and I just saw all the flowers blowing into an extraction fan, and I thought, okay, you know what, let's not panic about that. But on the day, everything went smooth as everyone went to the right place. Everybody was served by. I think, like it was an hour and a half starter, main course, dessert. Christina Aguilera played, and the place was dismantled. The trucks were full, and everything was out of there by about, I'd say, 3:00 in the morning. God. Yeah, because the Three Arena.
They're turning.
They're turning. There was a concert in the next day or in 2 days' time, and they're turning. So. And it worked really well. And there was everybody was just, the adrenaline was huge. It was amazing. It was a whole build. And I was very lucky because I worked with guys and learned so much from them who were literally architects in this field. Like we had to build a whole new level, and the Royal a whole new level for an extra, to seat an extra 500 people. It was just brilliant. Yeah.
Do you know when you're talking about it there, for me, it's the same adrenaline. It almost feels like live television. So like when I'm recording or when we're recording this, there's an energy. But when you're going live in front of 400 or 500,000 people, and I used to do, say, The Voice or the Rose of Tralee, like you're on and you're performing and you're living off your nerves and off all that energy.
Yeah.
And then it finishes and you're like the come down is big. And I like when I watch shows like The Bear, or being around kitchens just because of Pork's businesses, you see, and I understand now why in kitchens, the energy, why chefs can be so like mad sometimes, because a bit like TV presenters, chefs can be a bit mad because there's so much that goes into it. There's so much intent, there's so much performance, and then you're on, and then you're not.
Yeah. But it's absolutely exhausting, Kathryn, and
100%.
If you take, for example, a small little place like Ann Chips in the summertime, when you literally have queues from the minute you open until you close at 9:00 at night, and it's just orders coming through, and it's bang, 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 there's no room. And you come home and, sometimes I'm sitting in my car and I don't have the energy to get out of the bloody car, I was there going, oh my God. And I was talking to a florist the other day who was talking about doing weddings, I said, you go to bed at night time and you just kind of smell eucalyptus from your body. And I was like, okay, That's much better than fish. It's like, it's colourful.
But you love it, Eunice. Would you be lost without your work?
I would 100% be lost without my work. I love it. And I love the variety that I'm getting now at the moment, with the different things that are going on, because I'm a really curious person. So I love that side of it, of seeing new things and of kind of learning. And at the moment I'm meeting a lot of producers, and with the, with kind of consultancy work I'm doing, I'm seeing things from the inside out, from retail. I love that. I love Ann Chips. It's great for that kind of buzz, but I couldn't do it all the time. And then working with the individuals on jobs, it's great. It's just
Being
really
part
good.
of those magic moments, those lifetime, the weddings, the christenings, like those special, intimate family moments.
Yeah.
And so then why did you always want to write a book? The book was a huge success last year, your first book. Tell us about it.
Well, the book wrote itself, really. These were all, and I'm not highfalutin in cooking, and I feel that food should be very simple. You should be able to buy all the ingredients in your local supermarket, and that it should be a way of just bringing people together. And for me, food is, yes, we need to, so I have kind of a theory myself on bringing myself down, exercise, food, and sleep. They're the three things. So when one of those is missing from my life, things can get a bit skewed, and I need to really mind myself. But for bringing people together, food is so important for me. And so this is a really simple book. There's something there for every level of cook, but more so for the ordinary cook, who is like you, Kathryn, mom of two, you're coming home in the evening, you want to meet your friends, you're really busy, your kids at that age, they still go to bed at night. It's actually easier for you to have a couple of friends over and have the chat in the kitchen and to be able to knock something together. That's the kind of book it is. It's a really simple book, and it kind of sold out, actually. And we're hoping for a reprint to be in before Christmas. Gil were hugely supportive to work with. So it's great to work with an Irish company. And the girl who worked with me is Teresa Daly, who's actually from Dungarvan. She's a bit younger than me. I didn't know her growing up, but I know her brother. He works in Country Store in Dungarvan, which is my fruit and veg shop. And her brother Michael's an absolute legend. He's great. So, it was lovely to work with somebody from Dungarvan. It was brilliant. Yeah.
I mean, there's so many great people flying the flag. Listen, our hearts are working 24/7, right? So if you do ever feel that worry, maybe some unexpected chest pains, palpitations, breathlessness, you need to know that there is also expert help available 24/7 too. That's why I want to talk about Matter Private Network in Dublin. They are the only private hospital in Ireland offering urgent cardiac care all day, every day. And I'm talking weekends, bank holidays, even in the middle of the night. Now that is genuine peace of mind. This is such a unique service for anybody who is worried about their heart. And if you're not sure, just pick up the phone and call them first. You can ring 1800 24/7 999. You'll be put directly through to a cardiac specialist nurse who will talk you through your symptoms. If they need you to come in, you'll get a thorough assessment immediately. If you need treatment or a procedure the same day, they'll arrange it straight away. It's about getting swift expert care from one of Ireland's leading hospitals. If you're worried about your heart, the number to save is 1800 24/7 999. For more information, you can log on to matterprivate.ie. Save the number and be prepared. So, I mean, huge successes, massive successes all round. Personally for you, you were saying to me that your relationship has had a change, shall we say?
Yeah. I'm not married anymore. I got divorced last year. Edmonton and I suppose we grew apart. And
had you been together for a long time?
Yeah, we're married for 27 years.
Okay.
And then, and that's life, Then this year, I had a huge thud that came from, completely took me by surprise. My son died, Jerome. And that's been something that's been really difficult for us as a family to deal with, because Edmund and I are parents number one, and for Micheál and Kieran, I can't even say Micheál and Kieran without saying Jerome in the middle, That's been incredibly difficult for us, yeah. And it's something I just don't think I'll ever get over. And in fact, I think I've gone through the last 6 months in absolute shock, and it's now that it's only landing with me, and I just can't get him out of my head, Yeah.
Are you dreading Christmas?
I'm actually not even thinking about it too much. You know I'm going to, after I leave you today, I'm going to go into town and do some Christmas shopping. And, Christmas, like buy some things for the boys for Christmas. And Micheál and Kieran are really easy to buy for. Jerome never was, because he was such like a sort of, he could have done a bit better. He
I
was
heard you
hilarious.
describe him before. He was kind of like your wild child. Would that be fair?
Yeah, he was wild. He was adventurous. I mean, honestly, Kathryn, he never went anywhere without the passport in his back pocket. He was always like, "Can you revolute me?"
Was he you?
Yeah, absolutely me. Yeah, he was me, son, but kind of a more tamed down version. We came from the generation of being seen and not heard a little bit, and where you sort of have to try and bargain with your parents for money. That you sort of build yourself up for asking for a few quid. Whereas he was just like, just give it to me. He was like a highway robber, Dick Turpin. But he was absolutely hilarious, and like we'd a sofa in our kitchen. And, to look at it visually, it looked quite good, but it was actually falling apart. And this was from him charging in on top of one of the lads, knocking it over. There was the wrestling going on all the time, dancing, playing music. He played his guitar all the time. When he was small, he was fishing. Fishing, shooting, loved boxing, everything, high adrenaline. Go, 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 go. Like during COVID, the lads at home, it was just like their main mission in life was like trying to escape the guards, at night time, trying to sneak off around the country to meet people or to ride horses.
And are they close in age? What's the age?
Oh, yeah. There's like, I suppose, 18 months between Micheál and Jerome. And then Kieran's a little bit younger, about 4 years younger. And Kieran just adored Jerome. Adored him. Yeah.
What age was he when he passed, Eunice?
He's 24. He would have been 25 in July. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, always 24.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I don't know. I don't know how I'm doing. I'm not really sure. I think I'm probably, I'm busy. I've amazing friends.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Am I escaping into work? I mean, I don't know how to behave. I mean, I don't know what is the right thing to do. I mean, for me the idea of lying down in bed and curling up isn't an option,
No.
No. So I just keep going.
And how are the boys doing?
They're okay. They're really lonely and they really miss them and they're really, I'd say, confused by it all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they're just trying to find trying to work with the new norm. Yeah.
And it's so recent.
Yeah.
It's so recent.
It's, it's indescribable. And, you don't know. I mean, I think it'll probably take years for this to kind of pan out for us. But we only have this one life, and this is all we have. And and it's so easily whipped away from you. So I tried to encourage the boys to, take life in both hands, be like Jerome, roll with the punches, as his friend said, even if he walked into them a lot of the time. But you just have to kind of roll with it, and Jerome would always, he was often in trouble. And a lot of my time...
I wish I'd met him, actually. I love the sound of him.
Yeah, a lot of my time was unraveling kind of things for him and trying to sort things out. And sometimes I'd obviously get really annoyed with him about things that happened. You failed an exam in college, that you're just feeling sorry for yourself. And why am I feeling sorry for yourself? Because your friends' kids aren't failing exams like I am. I said, no, I'm not feeling sorry for myself. He always kind of had this thing and say to me, don't feel sorry for yourself. So I try not to feel sorry for myself and I try not to indulge myself. But I think I'm probably very uncompassionate towards myself. And that's always the way I've been. I think women maybe put themselves last. Some women do. I do. I can see my own mother did, always kind of put everybody else before herself. So it's that's something I probably have to learn, is to have a bit of compassion for myself. Yeah.
They're two seismic personal events for you, Eunice. Like incomprehensible, to lose your son.
Yeah.
and to have made the decision, which can't have been an easy one for both of you, for yourself and your husband, to decide to get a divorce. Like, are you in the house on your own? Are you in the family home?
Yeah, I'm in the family home. You know, go big or go home, Kathryn, you know? Like it's, yeah, I'm at home and...
Are you at home on your own?
No, we've a young fellow at home, Kieran, and he goes between both of us. And yeah, so he, you know, stays between both of us, and Mihal comes home. He's at home with me at the moment. You know, I am at home, but it's kind of a busy house, you know. Yeah.
And did it take you a long time to figure out that divorce was the right option for the two of you?
Yeah, it did. You know, it did take.
Like, were you doing what a lot of couples do and kind of living under the same roof, but not living as a couple?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, you know what? All relationships are difficult, you know, and can be, you know, difficult and have their ups and downs. And I suppose when there are more downs than ups, you decide that, yeah, to move on. And you know, we, at the end of the day, we're parents and we still have, like, you know, a decent enough relationship.
Oh, that's good.
And yeah, look, it's just, you know.
You spoke to me, and if you don't want to talk about it, but like, I'm interested to hear your take on divorce, right? Because my parents are separated and have been separated for 20 years. They're not divorced, though the option is now there. Do you feel that there's a stigma around divorce still? Did you feel that personally?
So when I got divorced, I didn't. But if you asked me that 20 years ago, I would have said, yes, there is stigma around divorce because, you know, I think it's really normal for relationships to break down, work relationships break down, friendships break down, family relationships break down. But there's something about divorce in Ireland that is, I suppose, because we were so slow having divorce ratified in Ireland, that there, you know, we have this kind of state and church kind of stigma around it. I don't think it's there now, but it was there 20 years ago, you know. And it's funny, in Ireland, I think we've had so many opportunities, like we're a young enough state and we've so many opportunities to get things right, and we still manage to fuck them up, you know. And like divorce in Ireland is kind of a difficult procedure to navigate your way through. And, you know, and it's such a shame. And, you know, if we go back over the years, I mean, Kathryn, you and I are, I mean, I'm older than you, but it's, you know, our parents came from that generation of their parents were in the New Ireland, you know, they were born in the 1940s after the, or even before that, like my grandfather was born in the, I think it was just the turn of the 19th century and the 20th century, I don't know.
20th century,
yeah. 20th century, yeah. So there's this New Ireland formed, and you know, where Ireland was a place and a land where women were so valuable, they were appreciated. You know, we hear about Maeve and these wonderful queens of Ireland. And then this new state was formed in the 1920s. They treated us like second-class citizens and by the church. And then the state also, I mean, my mother couldn't work when she got married because there was the marriage ban. And then when the marriage ban was lifted, my dad didn't want her to work because he felt that it was, there was a stigma around having your wife working.
And a woman's place is in the home.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
I know.
You know, and also look at the pressure put on men. You know, not all men are really strong men and who, you know, who can go out and, I mean, they must have felt such a failing if things didn't work out for them in their businesses. And because, you know, life happens, shit happens. But it was so much pressure put on men as well.
Oh my God. And when you think about it, I was looking it up this morning. It was 1995, the divorce referendum came in this country, right? And it was only narrowly won. It was like 51 to 49. It was something as ridiculously close as that. And they say that the only reason the divorce referendum was passed because there was a huge storm over in the west of Ireland and 5,000 people in Galway
Longford or somewhere
didn't come out to vote.
Yeah.
But like, think of the trajectory that would have had. Like, that's another 10 years. Like, we are already so slow. I actually do believe there's still a stigma around divorce because I don't think we can get over it that quickly. Like, I know two of my friends who are living in a relationship who, in a house, and it's not for the protection of the children. It's like, what will people think? It's the sense of failure, you know? It's like, as you say, work relationships change, family relationships change. And if anything from this conversation that we've learned, life is precious. You have to live the life that you want and not be afraid to go, that did not work out. It's a real pity, but I need to move on here.
Yeah. Well, you both, like, everybody needs to move on, you know? And it's acknowledging change. And I think that it's very difficult here. And it's not straightforward. In other countries, it's really straightforward to have a divorce. But in Ireland,
In terms of the legal
side
documents
of
and
it.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's then there's a lot, you know, there's I don't know how to say it. I mean, I do know how to say it, but I can't just put it into words. But there's you know, there's Kathryn, what should I say? Like, kind of almost untruths around divorce and what people are entitled to and everything. You know, it's a huge grey area, and it's most, like, anybody who knows somebody going through divorce have the utmost of sympathy for them, because it's such a stressful time where people feel so insecure because they don't know where they stand. You know, and I've a couple of friends going through it at the moment, both male and female. And it's really difficult. You know, yeah.
Like I said, it's been a desperate year for you. Looking forward to 2026. Can you look forward to 2026? Are you throwing yourself into work to cope until you figure out what you're doing and how you are going to be able to cope with the loss of Jerome?
Yeah, I'll never cope with the loss of Jerome. You know, I don't think I ever will. I think that, and as I said to you earlier, you know, diet, exercise, sleep, they're the three things that kind of keep you sane. Work is something that gives me, like, you know, a lot of the time it's an adrenaline rush, and I love it, you know. Like, I'm really looking forward to the Festival of Food and working on that now. Like, and I'm kind of, it's like a little kind of worm that's working away in your head all the time. I've, you know, various different projects that I'm working on, people I'm working with, and work with really nice people. I mean, there's, you know, and I'm really lucky. I think I'm really fortunate. Both in, you know, kind of in the festival and corporate size, you know, they're really good. And there are really good people around. And I find the culture of work has really improved, you know, compared to when I was younger. But I don't know. I just kind of keep rolling, you know, keep rolling. I don't know what to, I mean, you never know what's going to come down the tracks at you in the next 12 months. I hope. My big focus is on the boys and that they're okay, you know, and that they're well. I'm incredibly lucky to have, my mum is 82 and she's an absolute legend. And, you know, I love spending time with her, and I love my friends. So, yeah, I just kind of, you know, roll with life.
Do you feel that you've had the people that you love around you? Do you feel that support from your friends, your family, your community?
Oh, absolutely. Like, I'm actually embarrassed by it. They're so good to me. I'm, you know, really, my community in Dungarvan is incredible. From, you know, the people that you might pass on the street, that you know their faces, and they might just kind of touch your arm. You know, you okay? People are absolutely incredible, and I couldn't wish to live in a nicer place. My own friend group, from my college friends to my, you know, my pals in Dungarvan, to my school friends. I went to boarding school, like, you know, I don't know, a long time ago, and I have such a tight circle of friends from there. I'm just really lucky. Yeah, I have great friends and a great community, and I hope to think that I'm a good friend to them as well. And it's not all kind of support stuff; it's a good laugh as well. You know, we've great fun with each other.
Well, I know from hanging out with your friends and hanging out with you, you are an incredible bunch, and humour is such an important part of who you are. And I get that from you, and I just hope that you are. I hope you're okay, honestly, Eunice. And I know it's difficult. And thank you for talking today, because it shows huge resilience, but you're also still hurting. And that's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But, you know, and that's, and like, that is life. And there's so many people with different, who carry different hurts. I mean, mine is more public and obvious, but they're, you know, and I'm able to talk, you know, I am able to talk, which is brilliant, you know, because I can kind of process things that way. But But there are a lot, and other people have survived this. And that's what I keep thinking. I look at my friends who have lost kids, and there's one particular couple who are really good friends of mine. Their son died at the same age as Jerome in a car crash. And it was 6 years ago. And I look at them and I said, they survived, so will I, and they, really, they're amazing and they're brilliant to me. They're really good. But, there are a lot of people with hidden hurts and people who can't talk about things. And I hope they find their voices and they can.
And it's so important that you do talk about it.
Yeah.
And I actually did an event last weekend, and it was for a gorgeous couple who live in just outside Maynooth, and they lost their 18-year-old daughter to cancer. And Caroline said to me after losing Charlotte, she said, Kathryn, all I could think, she was like, it's her year anniversary last weekend. She said, this just doesn't happen to me. Like, that's all I could think. This happens to the woman down the road, sister. Like, this doesn't happen to me. And she was still in that kind of place of shock and hurt and almost disbelief,
Yeah, I actually 100% can relate to that, because things have happened to me that I never in a million years, when I was starting off my life with my family, that I would never have imagined happening to me, but they do. And, some things are more protracted and longer, and other things happen in a split second. And, the things that happen in a split second have the biggest kind of impact on your life. Slow burners, you have a little bit of time to think about. For women out there who are, I suppose, struggling with different things, be it, whatever, I think for them to go back to the basics and look after themselves, really look after themselves, make sure they're sleeping, make sure they're eating, and make sure they're exercising. And those three things will keep you sane no matter what you're going through. And, that's something that you live your life by as well, I think, Kathryn, because that was very much the ethos of that week that we spent with you. Live, sleep, and no alcohol, I think, was that week. I think we lasted about 5 days.
Until we got to the last day.
No, I think we might have even...
I came home from that fitness and wellness retreat feeling much worse than when I went. But listen, I love spending time with you. I just think you are an incredible person. Thank you for being so honest. And take some of your own medicine. And really look after yourself. And keep talking and continue to talk. And you light up when you talk about Jerome. So make sure you continue to do that as well.
Oh yeah, I will. He was brilliant. Like, sometimes I think things, and I just laugh at him. Actually, just like on the Christmas presents, he would get up earliest every morning on Christmas morning, and he would go down and pick and choose from the other boys' piles and rob their stuff. So Christmas morning started off generally with like a good old fight,
Boys will be boys.
Oh yeah,
he
was great. Yeah.
Listen, it's an absolute privilege and pleasure to have you in the Are We There Yet studio. And I know by talking in the way that you have, you will have connected with so many people in a way that you don't even know, because that's what you do, and you do it so well. So thanks for being with us this morning.
Oh, thanks for having me, Kathryn. Yeah.
Listen, our hearts are working 24/7, right? So if you do ever feel that worry, maybe some unexpected chest pains, palpitations, breathlessness, you need to know that there is also expert help available 24/7 too. That's why I want to talk about Matter Private Network in Dublin. They are the only private hospital in Ireland offering urgent cardiac care all day, every day. And I'm talking weekends, bank holidays, even in the middle of the night. Now that is genuine peace of mind. This is such a unique service for anybody who is worried about their heart. And if you're not sure, just pick up the phone and call them first. You can ring 1800 24/7 999. You'll be put directly through to a cardiac specialist nurse who will talk you through your symptoms. If they need you to come in, you'll get a thorough assessment immediately. If you need treatment or a procedure the same day, they'll arrange it straight away. It's about getting swift expert care from one of Ireland's leading hospitals. If you're worried about your heart, the number to save is 1800 247 999. For more information, you can log on to matterprivate.ie. Save the number and be prepared. You've been listening to Are We There Yet? Hosted by me, Kathryn Thomas. Visual design and video edit by Stephen King O'Farrell and Connor Daly. Music courtesy of Audio Network. Series producer Paul McGregor and executive producer Sasha Hamrogue. New episodes of Are We There Yet? Are released every Tuesday morning wherever you get your podcasts, and you can also watch this episode along on YouTube. Are We There Yet? with Kathryn Thomas is an Onyx original.